Constructing the Built Environment, June 3rd of July 2020. This work can be completed by hand or using a computer. Please submit any work you complete, even if you're not sure if it's correct. Each slide has an audio option, which reads the task and gives you hints and tips. Look for the speaker. Task 1. This will take you roughly 20 minutes. Keyword practice. Add a definition to the keywords listed below. These are all new words that you have covered whilst you have been working from home. Number 1, spatial requirements. Number 2, specification. Number 3, convention. Number 4, sustainable features. Number 5, site survey. Number 6, statutory compliance. Number 7, tolerance. So hopefully some of these words ping into your mind because we have covered them before. If not, you can use other resources like the internet or the dictionary to find definitions. However, some words might have a different definition if they're not within a construction context. Okay, so for example, sustainable features. Some of you who do DT as well as construction might hear that and think, oh, sustainable, that means something that can be recycled, something that's good for the environment. In construction, however, it has a slightly different meaning, so do be cautious of that. Task 2, which should take you 10 minutes. Read through the following slides. This will give you the information you need for your main task. So we're going to start with a little bit of a recap because I think it really is important to remind ourselves of what we have actually done since we have been at home, because it has been quite a while now. So what have you been doing since you've been at home? You've looked at conventions, so plans, isometric drawings, elevations and freehand sketches. We've looked at conventions and the use of symbols when working with a floor plan. We've looked at building regulations. We've looked at design brief, so what it is and what it refers to. We've had a little look into natural timbers, their qualities and what they're used for. And we've also looked at construction techniques and methods like joists and stud walls. So all of this information can help you to plan and develop your own construction project, which is what we're going to do this week. But before we can do that, we need to have an idea of the material that we would be working with later on in life. So this is just a little bit of a reminder as to how you could recognise suitable materials. That is an important skill to have, as it can save you a lot of time and money in the long run, because instead of wasting your money on materials that aren't suitable, you'll already know how to identify whether they are or not. So when we're looking at materials, we look at the qualities, so the appearance, the features and their strengths. We look at their limitations, so what can damage it, but also what can stop you from buying it. So maybe it's not available, which brings me to sustainable features. So this is the size they're available in, how much it costs and whether you can actually afford it, and whether it can be recycled after its use, so it does have a better impact on the environment. And this brings us to the material that we would be using if we could, which is brick. So we're just going to talk about the qualities, the limitations and the sustainability of bricks. So qualities first in the green. They can withstand many years of severe weather conditions. Okay, so they can be outside for a while. They're modular in nature, and if we look below in the pink box, modular, they can be joined to form a large structure, so like a wall, for example. They have a high degree of tolerance. That means it can put up with a lot, like different types of weight and weather conditions. And they also have strong compression, so that means they can hold a lot of weight without actually breaking. So let's look at their limitations. They do require skill to actually lay them. Okay, so that's a tradesman's skill that's really essential. They have low tensile strength. Basically, they cannot bend. They are very heavy. And their sustainable features can be quite limiting for their uses. Sustainability. They are cost effective, they are a good price for good quality, and you can often buy them in bulk, which means that they can be cheaper if you buy them in a large quantity. They are readily available. You can buy them from pretty much any DIY or any trade centre that you pass. And they can also be reused when they're no longer needed. Okay, so this is why we're looking at bricks. For your main task, you're going to work out how many bricks you would need to build the perimeter of your dream home that you planned last week. So last week you had an assessment task which was to draw a floor plan of your dream home. You're going to use that floor plan this week as well for this task. So task 3 is 10 minutes long, and there is a YouTube video attached to show my homework other than this one. You'll need to watch that in order to complete the main task. So go do that. And this brings us to task 4, which will take you roughly 30 minutes. After watching that YouTube video, you're going to use the information in that to help you calculate how many bricks you would need in order to build the perimeter of your dream home. So last week you should have drawn that plan, okay, just one floor. You didn't draw every floor, you just drew one floor, and that is the floor you're going to use to calculate the perimeter and how many bricks you need. The dimensions of the brick are listed below. Okay, so this is task 5 and it will take you roughly 30 minutes. It will probably take you a little bit more time. That's absolutely fine. So it has 3 parts and I'm going to talk through each one. So part number 1 is it mentions the floor plans that you did again last week. So just a little reminder, last week you were asked to design your dream home in each floor of it, but you only had to draw one floor of that dream home. So you only had to label one with the dimensions and the sizes. What you're going to do is you're going to go back, you're going to find those plans, and you're going to add the dimensions to the other floors. So essentially all you're going to do is just label them to say how long each room is so that you can work out the parameter of each floor. However, if your house is the exact same shape and size for each floor, you don't need to do that. So for example, in the images you see here, the ground floor and the first floor are the exact same shape. So I could just use the parameter from the ground floor, which I worked out previously because that was the floor plan that I used for last week's assessment. Okay, so I don't need to worry about finding the parameter of the first floor because it's the same as the ground floor. However, the third floor is different. So that one I would need to label. Okay, I need to label each side to say how big it is, and then find the parameter of that third floor so I can add them all together to find out the overall parameter of the house. Now I know that sounds really confusing, okay, but read through the task, maybe re-listen, and hopefully you'll have an understanding as to what I'm asking you to do here, okay, because it's a little bit of a tricky one. Once you're happy with that and you've completed part 1, you're going to go to part 2. So you're going to use the link below, which is to the Travis Perkins website, and this is a tradesman's website where you can buy different building materials. And you're going to look at the bricks, so the different building bricks that they have. And you're going to choose one that you would like to use to build your own dream home. Okay, so we're not using the same brick that we used for task 4. You're going to go and find your own. And then for part 3, you're going to work out how many bricks you would need in order to build the parameter of your dream home, so for each floor. Okay, and that's why the information from part 1 will help you. Now, if you can't remember how to do that, you can pop back onto YouTube and rewatch that video resource that you watched previously, just as a reminder as to what to do. So task 6 will take you probably 5 minutes. All I'd like you to do, I'd like to take a screenshot or a photograph of the work that you've completed and upload it onto Show My Homework. This work isn't being assessed, okay? You're not going to get whole class feedback on it. However, it will tell us, your teachers, how well you've understood this concept and whether we need to do a bit more work related to it. If I get nothing uploaded, then we will just set this work again or similar work to it just in case the concept was quite hard to grasp.